Hello there everyone, it's me again, Timmy64 here again, with another game review, which generally I didn't actually touch on my game reviews in quite some time actually, since I think like the last one I did was on like Test Drive V Rally or either Sega GT Racing. Today I actually wanna actually be focusing on Cars 2, not specifically 3DS port like I did my video last year. That was a video I did on the Nintendo 3DS port of the game developed by Firebrand Games. But today we're going to be looking at the HD console versions, specifically the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Windows PC, also known as Steam port, and also the Nintendo Wii port. Now let's begin. First off, you've probably known the Wii. Maybe you had it, maybe you didn't. You were probably having an Xbox 360. Maybe you probably heard, maybe just somebody mention about it. The Wii, of course, it had a very interesting library of games. Super Mario Galaxy, Mario Kart Wii. Of course, Mario Kart Wii was the most successful. But what about other games? Of course, there were some other games. Of course, there's one of them is I'm also putting in here Cars 2. Now, how does Cars 2 do? Is it any good as Mario Kart? Does it feature any better elements than Mario Kart? Do you prefer this game? Let's find out. First, let's go into some history. Cars 2 was basically developed in 2011. It was basically developed by Avalanche Software and was published by Disney Interactive Studios. Now, if you know Avalanche, they were also the ones who made Toy Story 3 and also the Disney Infinity franchise. Of course, also they actually, let's see, about them actually, Disney actually like closed them down in 2017 until Warner Bros. Came in and basically reopened them back in 2017. So basically, also eventually Avalanche got the chance to make Cars 3 Driven to Win, but we're not doing that. So, anyways, the version of Cars 2 I'm talking about today is the Wii port, Cars 2 for the Wii. So, how does this game do? First off, I'm gonna first go into the consoles were released on. Of course, like I said, but again, this game came out for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Windows PC, and also on Wii. So the version we're gonna be looking at today is the Wii port. This one was a very downscaled version compared to its 360 port, but at least it wasn't like any of those other budget racing titles at the time. In fact, I think Cars 2 on the Wii is generally good. Some people might criticize it due to its horrible graphics, but generally I find it actually fun for the Wii. But anyways, first let's go into gameplay. Next is actually to see. Normally maybe you can just go into the controls first. Now depending on how you played this game, I played it using basically GameCube controller imports via Dolphin emulator and with an Xbox Series S controller. So of course the controls are simple. R is to accelerate, L is to brake, X is to drift, A is to jump, B is to use your boost. Y is used to actually use your gadget, well, in battle races or hunter mode, or also in the survival mode or attack mode. There's also the analog stick, which you basically the left analog stick, which you'll use to basically turn your character or vehicle. The C stick, which can be used to do many types of tricks, tilting, air jumps, and also going in reverse. Z button can be used to also look what's behind you. And yeah, don't know what the D-pad actually has to do with in this game. I don't really think the D-pad serves a purpose. But also the start button is of course to use to actually pause the game. So now it's time we go into the gameplay. Cars 2 offers a lot of interesting things. You have the normal race mode, which of course acts like a normal race. You have the battle mode, which battle race, these are the battle races. They are very interesting because like you get a bunch of weapons. It's well basically in simpler words, Mario Kart if it was Pixarified, if I had to describe it. So basically in battle mode or battle race, you actually basically get weapons and you have to shoot. It's like Mario Kart if you think about it. There's also the hunter mode. You have to eliminate as much enemies as possible in an arena, where basically if you have to do so, eliminating as much as possible. Attack, where you have to basically eliminate enough targets or lemons in this case in order to basically get enough points to get gold, silver, or bronze. Basically, survival is where basically Professor Zandap attempts to actually shoot you, and you have to collect batteries in order to power your shield in order to stay protected. And yeah, apparently there's also a arena mode I saw, but it's mostly only available to multiplayer basically. Now, this game generally does not actually have a story. The only thing in this game is basically the game takes place in a simulation. Basically, you as the player are in the Chrome Trading Academy located in the UK. So basically, it's just a simulation game. Well, not a sim racer like Gran Turismo or Forza Motorsport, but just rather a game that's just generally there. It just takes place in a simulation. So yeah. Next are the handling of the cars. The handling of the cars are not well bad in this game. They're not generally bad. They're good overall for the most part. I mean they're nice, good. There isn't really much I could possibly say about them. I do like the satisfying thing on drifting though. It just feels for some reason so good. I don't know how to describe it, but either way, there you have it. Now, also the graphics and car models, or in this case, characters. The models of the game don't generally look bad. Well, there are a few reasons why, mostly due to downscaling. Now, for me personally, I actually installed a texture mod which restores most of the textures from the Xbox 360 port for the character specifically. For example, in the PC and Wii version, McQueen doesn't have a sticker saying World Grand Prix at the back of him, although this was in the 360 and PS3 port. But thanks to somebody who managed to actually mod the game, if you guys saw my previous videos, basically somebody made a mod, and yeah, very interesting in my personal opinion. Of course, you upgrade from clearance levels. Basically, as you progress throughout the game, you get higher clearance levels. With higher clearance levels, you can unlock brand new things, new tracks, new characters, or cars in this case also. You also can achieve badges to unlock extra characters. Sadly, this game also basically on the Xbox 360 and PS3 port, they actually had a bunch of DLCs, the Delinquent Road Hazards, Radiator Springs, characters, and much more. Sadly, these were never added in the Wii and Xbox 360 ports, sadly. But yeah, either way, at least you have the whole game. At least it's better than nothing. But yeah, so there isn't really much possibly. Well, apparently also what I've heard is that the PC port was a basically a port of the Wii version, which most people generally hated the PC version due to how bad it was. Because the problem with the PC version was it had terrible, way worse lighting compared to the Wii version, and yeah, a lot of people basically said the PC version was a big disappointment. Well, actually, the Steam version. Of course, you can actually still get this game. Availability for this game is generally much better nowadays. Of course, you can play this game on your Xbox Series S, One, X, via also the backwards compatibility on basically the Microsoft Store. I think maybe you can play this game on a PS5 or PS4. I don't know. If you're using a PS4, just insert your old PS3 disc of course too, and voila, you're done. For Wii, nah, I would not generally, unless you still own your Wii from 2006 or something. Unless you still own a Wii, you could just buy yourself a copy of Cars 2 and play this game, depending on how you want to play it, via GameCube controller. It doesn't generally matter at the end of the day. If you want to play this game on PC, of course, they is generally better. You could also install the game from Steam for probably $20 if you're probably watching this from the US. But generally, I saw that it's just mostly just you just get Cars 2 Arcade Deluxe for the most part, or Essential Cars 2 Essential. I don't know whatever you call it. So yeah, because Cars 2 Arcade Deluxe or Essential adds basically the things that content that wasn't in the original PC port, and now this mod imports content such as files, other things from the Xbox 360 port, which generally I saw by a video of Xpool, which yeah. So generally, what do I think of this game? Generally, I think it's actually a quite good game, even though the Wii version isn't just as good compared to its Xbox 360 and PS3 counterparts. I generally think that at least they tried to actually give you a game, unlike most games that actually had almost a separate port. Examples like this are Need for Speed Undercover and for the Wii and PS2. Basically, that game is basically just almost it's not bad in the necessary part. In fact, some people actually prefer the Wii version over its Xbox 360 and PS3 and PC counterpart. But generally, I enjoy actually Cars 2. It's generally a good game in my personal opinion. I mean, yes, maybe I could have just enjoyed better graphics and DLCs, but generally, it's not overall bad. It's overall those good games. And yeah, it's actually a decent Wii title. For a game from 2011 running on a bunch of 2006 hardware is genuinely impressive because this game almost pushed from maybe the limits of the Wii. So yeah, I genuinely think this is good. All the Xbox 360 is maybe also interesting since it was also a console made in 2005 and a game released for it in 2011. If you would probably think about it in this case. PS3 maybe I also can't probably don't know. Of course, Windows maybe because Windows is just mostly the modern thing that's mostly used for gaming nowadays. But generally, I think Cars 2 is good. If you guys really enjoyed this video, please consider on like and subscribing on what you guys think of this Cars 2 video game. Since generally, I'm trying to actually look for a bunch of good Wii racing games. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this review on Cars 2, the video game for the Nintendo Wii. Please generally consider on like subscribing. Okay, and also thanks guys. I remember also we really hit 131 subscribers. Thanks for that. So yeah, goodbye.